Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our morning market update for Thursday, June the 8th of 2017. This is your excited host and eager commentator, George Papazov here from Trade Pro Academy, owner and founder. Today we got an exciting, well, all of them are exciting updates, I should hope. All right, we're going to hire some people in the background to dance while I talk. So it's obviously appropriate dancing while I talk to make it more of an educational event. Just kidding, we're not going to do that. But markets today are getting volatile. This morning, really the opportunity started at 7:30 a.m. All right, actually around 7:45 a.m. is when the announcement hit. Sometimes it's a few seconds, minutes late. This time it was on cue, and it was the European Central Bank. So we're going to discuss that today. We're going to talk about the second most volatile event of the day, which is James Comey, which is coming up. The most uncertain event by far, but it likely will have less volatility implications than what we're seeing right now. So if you're trading, if you're looking at live, pull up a chart of the euro and the dollar currency pair, euro/USD or euro.USD or euro-USD in one line. If you're on your TradingView platform, if you're trading futures, EU6M is the contract for the futures. Check it out. That's what you got to be trading this morning. Up a couple hundred on the session so far, trading that, and then we'll see where we go from there. When we open up the room, we still got the whole morning ahead of us. All right, this morning in Asia, Japan's down 0.4%, Hong Kong up 0.3%, China up 0.3%, India down 0.2%, mixed bag of nuts there. In Europe, midday, London flat, Paris is up 0.4%, Frankfurt up 0.5%. So you can see European markets in anticipation of the European Central Bank had climbed up overnight. All right, the euro had climbed up in the last couple weeks. We're heading into this in a very bullish sentiment in the ECB, okay? We'll talk about why in a moment. This reminded me very much so of the OPEC trade. Remember going to OPEC production cuts? All the producers were saying, oh, there's going to be great things that come out of the meeting. The market started to anticipate a lot, was starting to hope for a lot, and then what it got was exactly what expected, but the price still dropped because the expectations became so high that the market couldn't keep up with it. That's kind of what happened in the euro, except the euro continues to climb. Okay? Remember, currency markets are much larger than stock markets. Huge, way bigger. Bigger markets as a whole. $5.1 trillion exchanged in currencies on a daily basis. However, they're harder to trade. They're also transactional markets. The number one misconception out there is that everyone in the currency market's a trader. They are not. Maybe somebody's got $100 million of machinery they need to buy in the U.S., so they sell the euro, buy the dollar. Do you think they care about the trend? No, they just need their cash. Futures, S&P up, or actually S&P's flat, Nasdaq's up 0.3, so tech sector's a little bit hotter this morning. It's been the trend really for the last little bit. Dow's down 0.1. Crude oil up 0.8% after getting monkey hammered yesterday, down 5% on yesterday's session on crude oil. One freaking day on an inventory report. We traded that live together with the group. All right, gold's down 0.5% today, coming off as some of the risk-off sentiment starts to appear and starts to dissipate, and some of the traders start to really favor positions of risk and jump into euro, jump into equities in Europe. Let's see if that transitions on to this morning session. We're starting the session bullish. Okay, we're getting some bullish hype in here. We're going to try to see if we can make another drive higher on equities as gold and bonds are selling off. All right, you guys want to read a really fascinating article? It's coming out later today. It's on correlations, on market correlations. I wouldn't miss that article. Heck, I wrote it and I wanted to read it, and I learned something from it. All right, click the link below and you can get access to that right now. Not right now, but after the update. All right, let's talk about this. Today we have initial jobless claims that came out at 8:30. 9:45 we had the Bloomberg Comfort in. Wait 1 second. Didn't have a Bloomberg Comfort Index this morning. I'm reading you the stats from yesterday. Actually, that's the stats that I got today, though. That's so weird. No, that's right. That's right. I'm sorry. We have natural gas inventory today at 10:30. All right. I love trading the natural gas inventory. A little bit of confusion. I've been up a little bit earlier today than usual. Drinking my coffee here. Look at this. 86,400 seconds. How will you spend them today? It's backwards because cameras flip the image. It's not my mug. I promise you didn't get it printed like this. Looks kind of Arabic. Looks nice. All right. So I've been sipping a lot of this stuff this morning. I'm a little haywire. Okay, natural gas at 10:30. We had the ECB press conference this morning at 7:30. Let's talk about ECB. ECB stands for European Central Bank. All right. They're essentially the same governing body as the Federal Reserve, except they manage the cash in Europe. All right. They're in charge of inflation, and they're in charge of printing cash in the European Union. That's the European Central Bank's job. This morning, they announced they're going to leave all three of their rates the same. The European Central Bank works in a different mechanism than the Fed, so it's not one rate. However, all you need to know is, as expected, they didn't hike interest rates. All right. Some of the interesting things that happened as expected as well. A lot of what we got so far was expected. That's why it hasn't really reacted in a bearish way. So what you need to know when you trade these kind of events is, what does the market expect? If you can't answer that question, don't trade the event, because a good number doesn't mean good and a bad number doesn't mean bad. Okay, what you're really looking for is the number that comes out. How does it differ to the expectation that's already baked in? If there's a bullish expectation, you get a bullish number, you can understand why that's not going to really move as much, because that's already priced in. But if it's a bullish expectation, you get some kind of surprise or a miss to the downside, now you can see why these guys that are long are going to get shaken out as their stops get hit. All right? That's why the move is more extensive when there's a surprise, because the positioning beforehand was in the opposite direction. All right, what you got out of the ECB today was basically as expected, status quo, but you should still be able to talk about it at the cooler with your friends. So let me tell you what happened. All right, basically the ECB was concerned on economic outlook. Essentially, their language was, where was the note? Anyways, I can't word it as eloquently as they can. Right? That's what they get paid for. But they said that economic growth was a concern of theirs. Now they've said the economy is roughly balanced, which means that's an upgrade. All right? You're concerned about something. Now you're saying, hey, it's a balanced economy. So that's a positive for the economy. That's what they expected them to say. In addition to that, they said they were concerned about inflation. Again, that was expected. Inflation is lower. We'll talk about inflation in 1 second. Inflation is lower. All right, but they're more positive and upbeat on the economy. That's what the ECB is saying so far. All right. In their statement, they said they may cut the interest rate in the future if needed to stimulate the economy. They removed that from their statement. What basically it means is, we're not cutting rates anymore. We're past that cycle. We're now into current stimulus, reduction of stimulus, and rate increases. Okay, that's the shift. What that statement starts to embody. Does that make sense? When they say we're not cutting rates again, that starts to be a lot more hawkish, which is good for the euro. Again, all this was expected, so it didn't really drive a lot of volatility at the beginning. And then the press conference started. And then after, the way the ECB works, the European Central Bank releases, is they have a statement that's fixed and it's short and it's straight to the point. And then at 8:30 in the morning, or 45 minutes after that statement, there's a press conference. Before that press conference, the staff releases their projections on inflation and growth. That's how this release works. So if you're going to trade one thing, you trade the press conference. Watch the statement. Don't get crazy with it. Trade the press conference on these ECB announcements. All right, here's what happened. So the staff projections, they basically raised their 2017 GDP growth from 1.8 to 1.9, 2018 from 1.7 to 1.8, and 2019 GDP from 1.6 to 1.7. 0.1% hike across the board. That's great, because they said the economy's good. However, inflation is where the problem was. Look at this. They lowered their inflation target for 2017 from 1.7 to 1.5, a 0.2% reduction. In 2018, they lowered it from 1.6 to 1.3%, an even steeper reduction in inflation. All right? Lowers of 2019 from 1.7 to 1.6. They lowered this year's inflation, next year's inflation by the most, and 2019 by a lesser margin. So inflation expectations are lowered. Lower inflation means lower growth from an economic standpoint, but what it really means is this money that they're providing to the economy through stimulus isn't making its way. It isn't circulating through. It's stopping at the banks. They're not lending it out. All right. That's all you need to know. Basically, the Fed came out. Market expected a hawkish tone, a little bit more hawkish than usual. They got the hawkish tone, but there weren't any upbeat surprises. So now we're going to see if this euro trade unwinds. I'm looking at it right now, and we're looking at the euro trading versus the US dollar. It swept out some of these 112 even levels, so it broke below 112, took out some stops, and rallied right back up. So it's pretty much flat where the day started. It started at these 112.40s, went up to 112.60, so up 20 points. All right, down 45 points. Now really kind of back to where we started. Okay, volatility is kind of starting to flush out as this press conference winds down. So that's the EU6 contracts on futures. All right, let's finish it off by this. By saying that UK elections are underway at the moment. We're not going to have any results or exit poll results until 5 p.m. today, Eastern time, 10 p.m. local GMT. That's when we're going to get the kind of the early look at what's coming in. By Friday morning, by tomorrow morning, we'll know what's happened. All right, Theresa May hoping to widen her lead so she can have more parliamentary seats and control. However, stats leading up to the actual election day were showing that it was narrowing. Her lead was narrowing. That's not what you want to see when you call a snap election. You call a snap election hoping to gain strength. That wasn't happening. All right. You need to know about that. Watch the pound USD right now because currencies are driving the markets. That's where you're getting volatility these days. Okay, with equities at all-time highs and waiting for the Fed next week on Wednesday, now we're getting volatility in currency markets. And by golly, I'll take it. Wherever there's volatility, I'll go there. All right? I'm looking for that vol. I'm chasing vol. That's my life mission. Today, James Comey is going to testify. I don't know how I feel about this. There's Democrats drafting paperwork to impeach Donald Trump, despite the fact there's absolutely no proof. If everything that James Comey says is true, there's still no evidence. All right? Very strange things here. Number one, why does James Comey keep such detailed notes of his conversations with Donald Trump, but doesn't have a single note from his time in office with Obama? All right, maybe you could say Trump's a little bit more off the cuff, and I want to record my conversations, etc. But to that detail, all right, very interesting. So that kind of, look, I'm teaching you guys how to be critical thinkers here. You could obviously turn on the media, and you could find every single outlet out there calling for the guy's head. Okay, for me to come out and say, hey, he's going to be impeached, you're not learning anything new. You got to learn new stuff from me. Okay, you got to get the quality of info you deserve for what you're paying, which is free on YouTube. Just kidding. I still give you guys good quality. But I'm giving you the other avenue, the other kind of thought, the other train of thought and process here that you're not seeing. That's painted by the media, but behind the scenes is a little less prevalent there. So that's what I'm looking at. James Comey, yeah, okay, fine. But look at it this way. If you now provide any kind of evidence that's concrete to try to get Trump impeached, you could get yourself in trouble too. Would you do that? Would you put your family at risk? Imagine being the FBI director and withholding this information. If Trump gets nailed with obstruction of justice, so too should James Comey because he held that info back just as long. Does that make sense? So he's kind of in a bind now, and he said, hey, I'm going to testify. Hey, I'm not. Hey, I think there's some info. Hey, there isn't. That back and forth kind of discredits that process. So yes, there's talk out there. You know, the media has dubbed it Super Thursday. I think it's just going to be a bust. The prepared statement that was released yesterday is what he's going to read out verbatim, and that's going to be it. All right, and that statement's available. All of what he's going to say today is already known. The media won't tell you that because then they can't sell you their viewership, right? Sell you ads while you're watching what they're talking about. That's the Comey test. He's going to testify today. It's probably one of the most widely congressional testimonies that's anticipated in the history of this stuff. But watch for it. I don't think there's a bombshell. And he even said on numerous times, Trump made him feel uneasy, but there wasn't anything said that would personally imply him into this situation. And in fact, I have all the notes here. He's not going to blame Trump personally. He recorded stuff in every meeting. On the June 6th meeting, he said he discussed with FBI's leadership team whether I should be prepared to assure President-elect Trump that we're not investigating him personally. That was true. We did not have a counterintelligence case on him. He said 3 different times we did not have a counterintelligence case against Trump. We're not targeting Trump directly. We're not investigating him. He said that in his own testimony. So there you have it. No matter how they spin it in the media, nothing's going to come out of this. Let's move forward. So that means ECB's out of the way. UK's out of the way. The testimony from James Comey will be interesting. But it's tough to see a trade out of that. Unless something happens, it's tough to see a trade. Stay on the sidelines, watch this thing. Look at your technicals, follow your correlations, and just trade wisely out there. Don't let excitement get you excited. When everyone's excited, you should be skeptical. When everyone's skeptical, you should be excited as heck. Take care. Have a good day. Got to open up the trading room, look at some levels, and do a little more analysis of this ECB decision this morning. Take care, guys. Hope you enjoyed this update. We'll see you tomorrow for another one. All the best. Adio. I'm going to drink this much coffee. Or maybe I'll drink more. I don't know. Maybe we didn't have enough. Adios. Take care. Goodbye. Have a good day. See you tomorrow. Cheers. All right, subscribers, give me a second. Let me end.